Hi guys, you're watching the Telkom Gaming Show and we'll be bringing you the best in local and international gaming news. So let's get straight into it. This week we check out the crew, Skylanders Trap Team, find out more about Telkom's new LTE offering and end things off with the final Shadow of Mordor feature. For those of you looking for your next racing fix, the crew will be available worldwide on the 2nd of December. This online racing game is set in an open world, and as if Far Cry 4 and Assassin's Creed Unity weren't enough, Ubisoft is going to be conquering the market yet again in the first week of December. The crew is an open and persistent world, meaning that the world will continue to exist after users come and go as they please, making changes to the world state but keep the users changed intact. Set in the USA, you have the ability to drive from coast to coast in a single-player campaign that spans a good 20 hours. The main protagonist, Alex Taylor, will infiltrate criminal groups with some really awesome racing, mini-games and challenges. Missions can be played solo or online in similar fashion to Need for Speed's Autolog feature. Up to 8 players can partake in the multiplayer mode to race against each other. The best part of the crew is that there are no loading screens or pauses in the game, and it's being called a role-playing game with a large-scale multiplayer events. Pretty strange for a racing game to say the least. Unfortunately, while there is a single-player portion of the game, you will need an internet connection to play, so it's perfect time to get yourself some Telkom internet. The crew will be releasing on the 2nd of December and will be available for PC, PS4, Xbox One and Xbox 360. For the more young at heart, Skylanders Trap Team is the 4th installment in the Skylanders series, available on pretty much every platform apart from PC.
We're the trap masters, mate, and we're about to teach an old dog some new tricks.
The game uses an NFC or near field communication platform called a portal, which then syncs up with the figurines to use as in-game characters. With Trap Team, the Trap Masters have been announced and will need to capture all the criminals released by Chaos Prison. Chaos, the primary bad guy, released the worst villains in Skylanders in the previous game by blowing up the Cloud Cracker prison. Players will need to make use of the Trap Masters to capture all the escaped villains. You can control a variety of characters using the figurines and the portals as with previous games, but the trap has now been added. The traps can be used to store enemy characters originally found in the game, who can then be controlled as good characters and taken to other consoles to play with your friends. The mobile version of the game on Android via iOS and iOS uses a Bluetooth Traptamium portal to ensure that your gaming is uninterrupted. The game has received some awesome reviews thus far and is available now should you wish to become part of the Skylanders universe. For those of you who are into winning things, we still have our FIFA 15 competition going, so you can head over to the link in the description to enter. Additionally, if you head to Twitter and retweet our friend Joe Cran, you can secure yourself another entry. This week we chat to Stephanie B and her obsession with the Lego gaming franchise.
I am going to be completely honest with you and tell you that I'm not much of a console gamer in that I've never owned my own console before. I was a PC gamer in high school and got really into it, and sort of in varsity as well, and I got super into that kind of a vibe. And I suppose I just never really had the money for a console, and I didn't quite understand why I would want a console if I had a PC. But now, seeing as I'm dating someone with a console, I thought, you know what, let's try and find a game that we can play together. I feel like the war games are too pressurized. I feel like I get too into it and I feel like I'm in the war. And if I don't shoot someone, I'm gonna die. And then I'll probably have nightmares that night. So I needed to find a game that was engaging and entertaining, probably meant for children so it wouldn't give me nightmares. Easy enough for me to play so I didn't feel useless at playing on a console, but was still entertaining and still kept my mind going. And the first result that came up was a forum on the Lego franchise. And all of these guys swearing by all of the Lego games, saying, if you want to play anything with your girlfriend that doesn't irritate you and doesn't irritate her, you have to play the Lego games. So I literally went out the next day and bought my first Lego game. If I remember correctly, it was the Lego Lord of the Rings, and finished it, had the time of my life, and I can officially call myself a Lego stud whore now, you know, when you just go and like smash everything up so you can get as many studs as possible, and now I'm addicted, so yes. The cool thing about the Lego series, because I played The Hobbit, busy finishing The Hobbit at the moment, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, is firstly the sense of humor. So you get to laugh a lot because they make it kind of slapstick and weird and funny. It's intelligent, there's lots of puzzles, but then there's also a lot of smashing. So you know when you've got that console and you just like jumping and beating things up and smashing and like getting more points and more gold and like mining things and stuff. So there's that satisfaction of like instant gratification of seeing your stud count go up, but also having to stop and think, okay, now I've got to solve this puzzle that a 10-year-old could probably solve, but I'm having to go online onto YouTube and watch walkthroughs because I can't figure it out for myself. But it's a great game to play as a couple or with two people. I know you can play by yourself, and then the computer sort of, or the console itself, the game itself helps you out. But I love it because you get to play with someone else, and it's a cool thing to do. It's an alternative to, I suppose, watching TV or watching series. This is a lot more interactive. I am quite a competitive person, so I enjoy it because there's a lot of screaming that gets done in the lounge, a lot of shouting, a lot of laughing, a lot of shouting. So my favorite Lego game was kind of a hard question to answer because the three that I played so far all have very different things going for them. So the first one, Lego Lord of the Rings, I will always like because it was the first one that I played, and it was the first game I was able to successfully play on a console and not completely suck at it, like not just run around not knowing what to do. I actually was quite good at it, so that's nice and that's cool. It was interesting. The humor was totally like on par, weird like little sarcastic glances, and I don't think that I can explain it to you unless you've played the game. You can't imagine like a little Lego figurine making a funny like snarky face, but they do, and it is amazing. Pirates of the Caribbean I liked because you got to do like weird stuff in the game, and it was on boats and a lot of oceany things, and I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. With The Hobbit, they got the voices from the movie, and they got the narrator, Sauron, and all those people to narrate, and so that took the game obviously to another level because it was like you were watching the movie from the beginning to the end, like you were with Lord of the Rings. I found the graphics on The Hobbit maybe too good, and I don't know if that's something that it's true or anything, but I like the scaled down version of the basic Pirates of the Caribbean, primary colors, lots of blues and like very sparkly. Hobbit made it seem like it was real, like I was really inside the movie. So the good news is that I have got 4 bundles or Lego hampers to give away, and I've got a question for you, and you should probably know the answer by now if you watched the video. I want you to tell me, what was the first Lego game that I played? As soon as you know the answer, head on over to the Telkom Gaming website, and who knows, you could be a winner.
Last week we chatted about fiber, and in this week's iTech segment we talk about Telkom's brand new LTE offering, so listen up.
Hi, big news for South Africa this week with Telkom's announcement of LTE Advanced in South Africa. What's significant about LTE Advanced is that it's offering download speeds up to 150 megabytes per second over the air directly to your little LTE device, which is pretty huge. LTE Advanced right now is commercially available in only 2 major suburbs in Johannesburg, but will be rolling out to at least the entire LTE platform that Telkom offers across Joburg, Durban, Cape Town, and other major metros in the next year. One of the main advantages of LTE Advanced is that it can handle more connections than LTE and substantially more than 3G. It also offers much higher peak download speeds if you're in a good coverage area. And if you stay in Parkhurst or Greenside or Parkview right now, you can get LTE Advanced immediately. Telkom are offering a really competitive package of 1,399 Rand per month on a 36-month contract for 100 gigs of data, all at those sort of speeds. LTE Advanced really is great for movie streaming, for general downloading, for any other activity that you use on the web. There is one little downside for gamers. is that although the overall speed is exceptional and you can download games faster than you could ever do before, the latency, so for online gaming, the latency is quite high at around about 35 milliseconds, and that's simply because it's a mobile platform and not a fixed network. The modem that Telkom are supplying is from Huawei. It's a brand new modem and is capable of even the next standard of LTE Advanced, which is category 6, up to 220 megabytes per second, which may become possible in South Africa in the next year or two. LTE Advanced is a great platform if you want to burn up the wires or the airways with lots of heavy-duty downloading or uploading for that matter. It's significantly faster than normal ADSL and almost equivalent to fiber to the home, which is something that Telkom are trying to pitch more and more across their network. I've been fortunate enough to have this LTE Advanced modem for the last few days, and I can report, even for gaming, even living slightly off the edge of the main coverage, I've been getting download speeds of in excess of 50 megabytes per second, and the responsiveness, the speed, even for some online games, has really been super impressive. It's very stable, you leave the modem on, and it's easy to place. In the event that your area is not well covered or you're behind a big building, Telkom will come at no charge if you sign the contract and install a high-gain external antenna, which will boost your signal by up to 3 times. There's almost no reason not to have high-speed broadband in your home for, I believe, a very moderate amount of money.
We have sadly come to the end of our special behind-the-scenes feature of the game Shadow of Mordor, as we saw the incredible journey of creativity and dedication of the team Monolith as they put together this awesome title. Friday the 21st of November sees the launch of Shadow of Mordor on current-gen consoles, so make sure you get your hands on a copy if you haven't done so. Here is the final installment as the team puts the game to bed and into the hands of the gamers.
In video game development, the closer you get to final submission, the more pressure you are under to deliver. But as the team at Monolith sets to work, they can't stop buzzing about the press reviews at E3.
I don't think anything could have prepared us for how overwhelmingly great it went. I think the final tally by the time E3 closed was like 40 awards and nominations.
Everybody was just gathered around watching Michael DePlatter getting an interview with a big media outlet.
It is a nice little kind of shot in the arm for the team just as we are doing that final push and getting it over the line.
With the final submission fast approaching, the team must continue to identify the outstanding needs of the game and resolve them without allowing the pressure to become a distraction. This moment marks a critical phase of production.
Right now, we're full bore with QA testing. We're making sure that they're pounding on the build every minute of every day, 7 days a week, to ensure that we're not finding any progression blockers.
Every day, they're just playing through it. They're playing through it in the craziest and wildest ways you possibly can, and then logging everything.
Since our game is such a sandbox game, there's so much you can do. You have so many choices. It's a hard game to test.
We end up with a lot of bugs that we call once-only bugs. So it's like one time a tester has seen this issue and it's bad. So it takes a fair amount of time for us to repro them consistently. It definitely makes fixing bugs harder.
We're doing final post on our cinematics. We're doing final lighting polish on our levels, on the materials for the characters, little things in the UI to make sure that we have everything available that we need to have for the consumer.
I mean, this is where you want to make sure that you catch everything. This is your last chance. You want the gamers to have a great experience out of the box.
Working on one of the biggest franchises in entertainment history, it's no surprise that people are eager to see the gameplay and how the story and characters are being brought to life as the team builds upon the lore.
It's more than just a franchise, it's more than just an IP, it's more than just a movie, it's more than a book. It genuinely is part of our cultural myth.
Every single person here in some big way is really just a massive fan of Tolkien's work, and to get to dive in deep to something that we care about this much and bring that passion with us every single day into the studio has just been incredible.
We wanted to present a new visual take on the lore while ensuring that it was authentic. And I think that a lot of the locations that we're presenting in the game are locations that people are familiar with, but they haven't seen quite in the time period that our game takes place in. The world is a little bit wilder. It's almost like the frontier, A lot of the gameplay mechanics mechanics that we have, they are rooted in the lore, but the combination of the Wraith and Talion, very unique gameplay experience.
You know, we really want to surprise people in a positive way, that when they do get to play it or they do actually see it, that it's at least as good, if not better, than what they'd sort of been hoping for.
It's been a long journey to this point, and the team is proud of what they've accomplished. Nervous and hopeful, they're excited to see what the future holds.
You know, the fact that it has been this sort of 3-year journey genuinely has felt pretty fast, but it's hugely exciting to reach the end of that and actually look forward to shipping the game and sort of, I guess, handing over that baton to the players and the fans to see what they think of it.
I'm just excited, you know, to get it in the hands of folks. I'm excited to do all the extra stuff we'll hopefully be doing for the game, and I'm excited to see what comes next.
There's a point in any creative process when, having spent years pouring your energy and passion into a project, you must step back and allow others to experience what you have created. For the developers at Monolith, that time is now. With only weeks until the official launch of Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, the team is attending conferences and exhibitions across the country.
We really have to reach out to as many people as we possibly can, getting the word out, letting people know about the game, letting them discover it.
This is our opportunity to really get out in front of everybody and show them all of our hard work, and to get their responses and to get their feedback directly to us from what they've seen.
At Comic-Con in San Diego, the press and fans are able to discuss the game with the developers and Troy Baker, who plays Talion.
I was really excited when we did our panel to see the anticipation and the excitement that people had to sit and just hear about the game.
Comic-Con was really about the legitimacy and the authenticity of our story within the canon of Middle-earth. Comic-Con makes you feel and realize that this game is part of this larger sort of tapestry of pop culture, and to be a part of that and to be there alongside these amazing movies and comics and TV shows, and just being a part of that is just super inspiring.
But it's the Penny Arcade Expo in Seattle which is special to the team. The largest event in North America focused entirely on gaming takes place in Monolith's hometown, meaning the entire team, their friends and their family, can attend and see firsthand fans' reaction to their hard work.
Here at PAX, it's people that are in your community specifically, and getting to have that direct interaction with you and the dev team, and it's kind of great to have that.
It's very much about embracing the gamer, letting them see the games that they love.
These are just tens of thousands of like-minded people who are into the same stuff, hanging out together, having a good time.
At the Warner Brothers booth, the atmosphere is charged with excitement as the team interacts with fans and immerses them in all things Middle-earth.
You'll get a chance to meet a couple of these really amazing orcs. They'll take their picture with you, they'll bite on your arm, chew on your hair, whatever you want them to do. In addition to that, we also have somebody here that will be branding people. And then after that, you'll be able to come in here, you get your hands on the game, you get a chance to play it for the first time, and you see what it's really all about.
One after the other, players step up and take on the role of Talion for the first time.
So fans are getting to run around in the open world, they're getting to hunt down orc war chiefs. Every single person that plays is going to get a unique experience compared to everyone else.
The purity of it is, you know, having these people just be gamers with no agenda, you know? They just want to know if it's fun or not.
Soon, fan reaction begins to filter back to the team. It turns out the game is meeting, even surpassing expectations.
I really like the fact that you can possess as many enemies as you want.
And like the thought of having a ridiculous army is like really kind of exciting. Being able to go in and see their strengths and their weaknesses and just like who's above them and how you can kind of go through the ranks.
You make your move, but everybody else is making their moves at the same time.
It was utter bedlam, and it was awesome. To really just see so many fans playing it, to walk away with smiles, to kind of have their own stories, it's just incredible. Like, that's the most important thing.
Every time somebody makes an exclamation of happiness or joy or goes, oh my gosh, that was so cool, you can only hope and dream that people will react like that.
Buoyed by the positive response, the team can breathe a momentary sigh of relief as they head back and ready the game in time for its debut on September 30th.
You can't wait for someone to get their hands on that controller and sit down and put that disc in and play it, because that's all your hard work. That's your baby that you've sweat and cried over and bled over. So yeah, I can't wait for that day.
We've done everything we can, and now it's just the anticipation of how that's really going to be received by the public at large once the game is released.
I don't know that it's really sunk in that the journey is almost over. I think I'm still in this nervous, anxious state waiting for it to launch. I think we've got to get it out there and see how people react before I'll finally be able to take a real deep breath.
The The road to completion is long and the challenges are many. To succeed, a team must persevere through difficult stretches and claim victories where others might admit defeat. If it all sounds rather epic, it is. For a studio marking its 20th anniversary and the release of its most anticipated game, it's something worth celebrating.
The October of 1994 is when the company was founded, and we launch on September 30th, so it coincides perfectly with the launch of our game, so it's just a good excuse to get out and have some fun.
It would be pretty cool just having this as a launch party, but to have it as your 20th year anniversary, and you're launching probably the best game your studio's ever made, that's pretty cool.
It's been several weeks since the game was admitted, and with great reviews pouring in, the team is feeling excited and validated for all the hard work they've put in.
I mean, Gamescom was incredible, PAX was incredible. Every time we get to put the game in front of consumers, it's a new high.
We couldn't have asked for a better reaction. It's exceeded our expectations.
We're so excited to get it out there for people to play and hear the user stories and how people receive it.
The public showings are done. Now it's just a matter of the fans finally going and picking it up. And so there's just like a really thick air of anticipation around here, just for everyone.
And getting your baby through certification and getting it mass produced and out to the stores is kind of a nerve-wracking experience because there are a lot of hoops you have to go through, but getting it through and hearing that you've been approved is a really awesome feeling and a rush of relief. And you're just that much closer to releasing the game and getting people playing what you've worked so hard on.
But amidst all the celebration for a job well done, the team knows that development doesn't just end with submission. No one will forget that the passion and energy they put into this game was ultimately for the benefit of their fans.
They're the reasons why we're here. It's to excite them, it's to motivate them, it's to feed off the energy that they provide.
And we're constantly reaching out to them. We're providing them with as much information about the game that we can and really watching what their responses are, listening to what their feedback and really taking it to heart.
We've got our leaderboards for our challenge modes. We've got the social and connected side of the game. We've got all of the community that grows and then continues beyond launch. So even launch is really just the beginning of the life of the game.
Development on these types of games doesn't really stop. There will be downloadable content, there will be extra things that we can't really talk about yet.
Within the first 24 hours, Shadow of Mordor is out. All the development time and all the QA time will be eclipsed by players. I hope that players get a chance to realize that, their interactions with the world are really, truly theirs.
No gameplay experience is going to be the same, so we're really excited to see how the fans are going to react when those stories start to get shared.
With Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor finally set to ship, the team takes a moment to reflect back on the amazing journey they've completed.
We had some dreams and some ideas, and it was a lot of work to sort of build those out of nothing for us. And watching it actually come together, it's really satisfying to know we reached for something great, and I think we actually snatched it.
We never lost sight of what we were trying to achieve in terms of making a really fun action game, really trying very hard to be faithful to Middle-earth and to the IP, trying to do something innovative.
We just are constantly feeding off of each other, trying to figure out how to get better.
We really relied on each other to sort of keep pushing.
It's something that's really hard to describe when you get the box for the first time and you're holding it. And when I get to open it up and see the game inside, you get to see the liner notes. Everything about this thing is just, it's very special because it makes everything very real.
It feels freaking amazing, actually having the game in your hand.
I'm experiencing it like a user is going to experience it, and so is the rest of the team. It's just an amazing feeling to be able to finally do that and really get what we've been putting out there and understanding it like a user would understand it.
Like, it's sort of a very surreal moment to get to play it in your living room for the first time. In the first 10 minutes of this game, I did stuff I hadn't actually done before.
It doesn't have to end here. Like we're starting a franchise.
We feel really that we have only begun to touch the surface.
The Nemesis system can grow. There's a lot of extension points to that thing. There's a lot of ways we can go with that.
How much can we expand that? How much further can we take those experiences? How much more memorable can we make those?
There's so much more that we want to show. There's so much more that we want to tell, and there's so much more that we want to explore.
For now, the team can enjoy the opportunity to restore their creative drive before they embark on their next journey.
So make sure to get your hands on a copy of Shadow of Mordor now. That's all from us this week, guys. We'll see you again next week. Bye.